Alrighty guys, welcome back to another episode of Full Damage on the Minecraft Season 4 server. We're over here at Mr. Black's Manor, to attic, and it's fully functional. First, let's quickly pop these guys down. Let's do one there, Colonel Mustard, Miss White over here. You may need a torch, Miss White. Here you go. The only stuff to do in the castle, Miss... No. That's not Miss Peacock, that's Reverend Green. The only things left to do in the manor is cosmetic work. Everything else, fully functional. It's a working game, everything, which is damn exciting. Miss Peacock and Professor Plum. The biggest thing is the lighting I need to work out, but apart from that, it's all good. So, let's head up to the attic. Let's show you guys the redstone. For those of you who are new here, welcome. But what we have... First, actually, let's show you this stuff. Above each of those player spaces where I was putting the coloured wool, we have this thing, which is an automated dropper. The dropper feeds out that way. There's a comparator there, which goes back and loops on itself and will trigger the dropper until it's empty whenever it has an item in it, as I shall demonstrate. Triggers and the stuff falls out and goes down into the player space. The player space has a pressure plate. The pressure plates, all the player spaces are the same, with that same design. The pressure plate feeds up a redstone line with redstone torches to the attic here. Each of these redstone torches here are coming from a player space. If this redstone torch is off, that means someone is stood on the pressure plate. These redstone lines all come from the player stuff into this assembly here. This is our item distributor. By default, these hoppers are powered by the lack of a player. If a player is on that player space, then the hoppers become unpowered and will accept items from the minecart here. I always thought that minecart chests couldn't feed into hoppers, or hoppers couldn't suck from minecart chests. I'm sure it said so on the wiki too. I've tested it and I'm sure it didn't work. So I even looked at the changelog to see if it changed, because it certainly does work. And it hasn't changed, so I guess I was dreaming or something. Regardless, that's coming from there. The only thing to do is to wire up these to these, which shouldn't be too bad. There is going to be a problem where Professor Plum here will get their item first. We may rewire that so Professor Plum comes down this way. It's unfortunately a little difficult to do, but apart from that, it's okay. Anyway, that's that. There is also a button next to Mrs. Peacock's space which comes up to this redstone line here. This redstone line comes up that way. We'll go up the ladder here. The redstone line comes up along here, all the way along here, to these droppers here. These droppers are feeding into these hoppers. Each dropper has either the suspects, the rooms, or the weapons. So when the button is pressed downstairs, each dropper will trigger once, and they will go down into this line, this hopper line here. That line goes down to the confidential chest, which is hidden under the stairs, and will not be seen until the end of the game. That line then, or the redstone, then comes into this RS latch here, which will set it, or unset it, or however you want. Basically turn this line off. When this line is off, the hoppers that are under these droppers here, you can't quite see them. There you go. The hoppers that are under these droppers here are unpowered. When they are unpowered, they will loop round and round and through this dropper here. This dropper feeds back up into the hopper above it, and is powered by this redstone clock here with a comparator leading into a torch, leading into the hopper clock, leading into another comparator, redstone back into the block here, which will power that dropper. It's just a simple automated dropper. That's for shuffling all of the cards. Meanwhile, this thing toggles. So this line is turned off to allow all that to happen. This is turned off, which means this is turned on, which means this is now powered. This is unpowered, so feeds 128 items into this. Once this is empty, this turns off, which means this turns on, which means a redstone line comes down here and powers this hopper here, which will turn off the dropper here. The dropper will not automatically drop anymore. This line also comes down here to this hopper behind this block, which is underneath the dropper that we're shuffling the cards. The dropper will go, or that hopper will suck all the items down into the minecart here. This will also turn off, and the same thing up there. It will turn off, turn on this, which will turn on this hopper, and this hopper will be off, which means 26 items will get dropped into this hopper. That gives enough time until the minecart is now full of the items. All the items have been sucked out and put into the minecart. This will turn off once this hopper is empty, which means this will turn off, which means this will turn off, which means this will send out a 1-tick pulse. This is a falling edge detector. This will increase that pulse just enough so that this minecart can get powered and go round. That also sends up another pulse that way. Same thing, falling edge detector up there, which feeds back into the original RS latch and relatches that so everything starts to reset. Meanwhile, this minecart will go round and round. When it has an item in it, or if it still has items in it when it goes over this, the comparator here will pick that up, which means it will turn off this torch, which will turn off the redstone, which will turn off the repeater, which will change the track to go this way. There's a zombie somewhere. That's fine. So if the item has minecart, if the minecart has items in it, sorry, it will go round this way and continue on the loop again and again and again. As it goes over these hoppers, it will drop 1 item into each hopper on each pass until it's out of items, in which case this will not trigger, so it will go up this way and then just end up on this powered rail here, and Bob's your uncle, it's good to go. We can trick the system into thinking, where is this zombie? Hang on, give me a second. Okay, I think I've dealt with the problem. Let's give this a test run. We can trick the system into believing there is a player in these spots. Let's do one there, do one there, and do one there, and then we'll do, well, we might as well do all these 4. We'll do 4 players. We should see, as there'll be 18 items in total to shuffle, because there's 21 items in clue total, and 3 of them get picked, so there'll be 18. We should see that 18? Yeah, sorry, I blanked. Yeah, 18. We should see that there'll be 4 in 2 of these and 3 in the rest, I think, because there'll be 18 divided by 4, which is 4, 8, 12, 16? 16 remainder 2. So 4 in each and 5. So 5, 5, and 4, 4, I think. We should see that. Either way, these 2, or the first ones, should have priority over the second ones, or the last ones. Anyway, let's press this button. This will test the system for us. Oops, let's climb up the proper way. But anyway, 3 items should have been chosen from there, and the shuffling should have begun. If we see, yep, this is toggling, so the shuffling has begun. It will shuffle until these 2 stacks have been moved here. I may play around with these values. I'm not entirely sure how long 2 stacks is. It's about 30 seconds to a minute, I think. But I might play around with that a bit more to get a complete shuffle going on. As much randomization as possible. But that's going to change in a second. Once that does, we'll see that this stops and this turns on, or this turns off and that turns on. In just a second. There you go, that's turned off, and this has changed. This is now waiting for all the items to be put into here. It gives it plenty of time. In fact, it's probably done now, it is in fact. That's going to change, which means that's going to go, and it's all been reset. This thing's going round and round and round until it's empty of items. There you go, and it's now back where it was, and we should see 5, 5, 4, 4. Fantastic! It is working like a charm. And in fact, we'll probably have time to see everything resetting too. Yep, items are still going back into there. The items are probably done going back into there by now. But they're still going back into here, which is excellent. And during the course of the gameplay, that will continue to go, and it doesn't take long at all. So anyway, it is working perfectly. So the only thing to do is to actually play it. So I would play a game of Clue, but unfortunately I don't have any friends. No. I have one. No. The Vintage Beef was going to come on and play. Obviously we'll need 3 people in total, but Vintage Beef was going to come on. He's having some connection issues though, like really bad connection issues for whatever reason. So unfortunately Beef can't come on. Everybody else is either busy or not responding. Whether that shows how much they care for me, I don't know. It's so mean to me mainly. No, people are busy. It's understandable. It's not a good time for group collabs. My recording schedule, but hey ho, that's what we get here on the Addington channel. Hopefully though, I'm pushing hard, and hopefully maybe at some point today or later, in a couple of days or whatever, we'll be able to play. But in the meantime, while I've been waiting for people to see if we can set up a game, I've gone and placed all these, well, I did that on camera actually, placed all these wall blocks here, put some signs in the rooms just to indicate what they are, in case people don't know. I've moved all the torches off of the floor, so all the torches are in the right places. I've changed this to quartz. This is the ballroom, so it's now a dance area. And the piano has a leg now, and it has keys. Excellent. I've done all the ceilings as well. Everywhere has ceilings properly, I believe anyway. I may miss some spaces. Working on a garden area here. Just trying to get enough. Hey creeper. Trying to get enough of the cobble. But I have a silk touch pick, so I can't get any more cobble. We may go somewhere and find some. What else? What else? What else? Dining room. Nothing has changed in the dining room, I believe. The dining room's the same. The living room, the lounge, whatever, now has a fireplace. It occasionally burns down, so there's now a lot of stone in the ceiling. But it seems to be fine. This has been running for a few hours now, so it seems to be fine. The secret passageway here to the conservatory is dug. It's not yet textured, but it is dug, which is something, I suppose. That comes up on the other side, like as so. Excellent. This is the conservatory, which we already went in, I believe. That's the billiard room. I want to change the floor, but I'm not sure what to change it to. Maybe some kind of carpet, maybe brown carpet. I don't know. Maybe a darker stained clay. Let me know what you guys think, but I certainly want to change it. I'm just not sure to what. The library now has a couple of seats. It also has books, as every good library should. The study has a bookcase. I want to change the floor. Whoops! I want to change the floor here too. Maybe we'll try birchwood. That is the same as the dining room? No, as the library. Sorry, the library has birchwood. That kind of matches, I guess. Library, study. Yeah, we might change it to birchwood. Do I have any? Do I have any? Let's have a gander. I don't think I do. None there. None there. None there. Okay, I might have to find some. That's an idea. That's an idea. The hall has a sign and a chest. I will get a painting on here too at some point. Chest and beds can be found upstairs and stuff. Chest of rules. Eventually I'm going to put a map here too. But you have the requirements that you're going to need to play. You need some dice. You need. It should be. I'd put 2 dice. A pair of dice. That'll do. Oops. A pair of dice. Okay. What else did I say? Pen / pencil. Paper. You can pause the video to read the rules. I'm not going to sit here and read them all out. But it's going with the classic rules of starting with Miss Scarlet, as Miss Scarlet actually starts the game physically too. Saying about the coloured wall blocks, you can place those to mark your space. Dealing with the cards, turn order, because you're not sat around a table, obviously you can't do clockwise turn order, so it's now clockwise around the board, starting from Miss Scarlet. So it's Miss Scarlet, Colonel Mustard, Mrs. White, Reverend Green, Miss Peacock, Professor Plum, instead of clockwise around the table. Rolling 2 6-sided dice, secret passageways, making suggestions, suggestions, I suggest, blah blah blah, suggest. It's also playing by the rules that you have to move the pawn into the room when you make a suggestion. You also have to be in the room when you make a suggestion. Some people don't play with the rule of moving the pawns. I think you should. That's the rules I grew up with, so we are. Miss Scarlet's also spelt wrong in this book. I've spelt it the American way, as you can see, but I'll change it at some point. It's a pain in the ass to change books. Accusations, saying that it requires 2 players to enter the confidential chest, because it's like an airlock, I guess. Saying that if the player doesn't reveal or if the accusation was wrong, then the player needs to return to the game, but not play, just show cards, and ending the game, return all the items to the dispensers in the attics, and return the coloured markers. Excellent, so that's all that. We can't get into the confidential chest without other people here. There should be nothing in there anyway. This is Miss Scarlet's start button. When this button is pressed, the game will begin. It will start dealing out cards. It will start it will put items into the confidential chest and such like that. If there is there's no like failsafe to say, okay, 3 people have entered the game, now it can start. Say if just Miss Scarlet was here, then all the items would be dealt to her, and nobody would win because Miss Scarlet would know who it is right away. So you do have to start with 3 players, and if you don't, then the game doesn't fix that for you. That's a lounge, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm really happy with how it turned out, to be honest. That creeper's gone, which is good. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Oh, that's a birch tree. I'm gonna have that. So yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out. It took a long time to get it done, but I'm glad we have it done now. And yeah, I think it's worth it. I would like to try and make some other games as well, perhaps at some point in the future. I need to work on the casino and stuff for the time being, but maybe one day we'll start working on some other games. Not entirely sure which ones to do. I was thinking maybe Pandemic, which it's a more recent game, probably not as well known as Cluedo, but it should translate well. There's only one issue I've come across thinking about the design. Ugh, I cannot talk today. Other games I think about: Mole Madness. That's an obscure game that probably no one here has played. But Mole Madness I could probably work out some way of doing. It would certainly lend itself to Minecraft in the fact that it's a grid layout and it's a 3D structure. Like, well, Clue isn't a 3D structure, but it's set in a building that can be made in Minecraft. It's set in a mall. Whether I can work out a good way to do, basically it works on a electronic voice. So the electronic voice will be like, move 8 spaces or move 7 spaces or whatever. And then it will also say, like, get to, if it keeps track of how well you've done, and once you've done all your shopping, it will say, get to the parking lot to win, or meet a friend at the ATM, it will say in the middle of the game, and things like that. If I can work out a way to get that working, that'll be good. But we'll see. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? What the hell am I doing? I need to put the sign back here, that's for sure. Study. Nice. Other games could do... I don't want to do games that involve like a lot of cards, and the cards aren't public knowledge. Things like Clue is public knowledge. You can go on the Wikipedia page and you can see a list of the suspects, a list of the weapons, a list of the rooms. Monopoly is pushing that. It's the ratio of the chance cards and stuff isn't exactly public knowledge. At least as far as I'm aware. Pandemic is the cards are easily findable and knowable and whatever. Mole Madness is just essentially random. There's no cards involved. But things like Flux, which is a little card game, or what else? Flux or Munchkin or something like that. To make that in Minecraft is easy. It's just writing books. It's a whole bunch of cards. But you'll also be releasing the information about the cards. So I'm assuming the developers of the games probably wouldn't take too kindly to that. So we'll see. I should put that back right away. I want to see if that looks better. I'm thinking it does. We'll see. Give me in the comments, let me know your ideas on other games you'd like to see built in Minecraft, and I'll see what I can do. No promises that I'll do them. But I've had a hell of a lot of fun building this one. I really like the 3D structure. Like I said, something like Mole Madness with a huge 3D structure would really work well. But yeah, I'm happy with this and how it's going. I'm afraid I'm going to end the episode here, because it's been long enough, and I don't really want to start something new with such a little time left in the episode. So as always, thank you guys very much for watching. Apologies that we didn't actually get to play. That was my intention for the entirety of the game, or on the entirety of the episode. Apologies that didn't pan out. But hopefully in the near future, we'll definitely get some guys here to play it. Should be fun, hopefully. But yes, as always, thank you guys very much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next episode.